Well, welcome back to Camus Classics. As you saw the other day, we do have this new project, 66 Ford Mustang. That is my brother's. He did help us put the floor in. We can throw a little bit of video in there so you can see who he is.
I think if we put it on that rib right there, it'd lift. Right here.
But today we're going to get prepared to do the engine. We're not going to pull the engine today. We still got a little bit of work to do on that. But we do got to get a lot of stuff out of the way. So we're going to get the stuff, show you how to get that stuff out of the way before we do that. So we're going to jump in. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this radiator. Sorry if it seems we're a little out of tune here. I'm working out of a different toolbox, so this car is my brother's. Like my dad said, he brought it when he was in high school. They got it running and everything then and did a little work, and then it's kind of sat. You'll notice part of it, you know, grill and stuff's off of it. So what happened is when I brought home my Firebird that you've seen in our other videos, he went and got this one and started tearing it apart to work on it. Once mine started getting to a point where it was, you know, getting close to being done, and kind of got him a little excited on this one, and he thought he'd get started on it, come tore it all apart. And then from there we kind of sat here in the shed till winter, and get that in a second. Be easier once I have the radiator out of the way. But we went ahead and we just cut the lower hose. The hoses are going to be replaced. Basically everything rubber is going to be replaced because, you know, it's just old and wore out. So I'll hop and start. Radiators held in by 4 bolts. Like I said, we kind of bag and tag things. We're going to do it a little different on this one. So I'll go ahead and just put the bolts back in this radiator once I get them out. Once I get the radiator out. And just set them here. So this one we will be doing engine rebuild, or at least regasket. We've got to kind of see what we got. It ran and drove, but that was several years ago. So at a minimum, it's got to be regasketed. The cork just gets brittle, any rubber's brittle. So we want to make sure and have this good. Let me grab another one. This car, I believe, come out of Dugway, Utah. I don't know where it originally come from. That's where we got it, I believe. A little bit of a unique family story on the getting it home. So at the time, I was probably 8 or 9 when we bought this. And, you know, the new fancy car, riding home. We went out, picked it up. He pretty well spent all his money buying the car. get coming home. My mom and sister's in our car following us, and they're supposed to stay behind us. Of course, this is before cell phones. So they're supposed to stay behind us in case there's any issues, because I mean, we're driving a car we really know nothing about. And so cruising along home and get down to Salt Lake, and car runs out of gas. So we will be replacing all the wiring in this, because the wiring is horrible. Has been since we got it. Gas gauge didn't work, but it showed about a half tank. So we're cruising along, and all of a sudden run out of gas. And you know, Dad's driving, my brother's riding with us, I'm in the back seat. Car runs out of gas, and lo and behold, my mom and sister's nowhere to be found. And like I said, they're supposed to be following behind us, and you know, so we pull off the road, and happened to be a gas station, you know, off the freeway. It was on the freeway. Dad turns the hazards on and runs down to the gas station, gets gas in a gas can, and comes up, puts it in the car. You know, it's one of those old little metal gas cans, holds about a gallon of gas. Puts it in the car. We get ready to fire it up and run back to the gas station. Again, for cell phones. Get ready to run back the gas can back to the gas station, and go to fire up the car. And I think it turned over enough to pump gas up to the carburetor, but there wasn't enough it couldn't turn it enough with the hazards going to start the car. So go to start the car, and dead battery. So luckily, where it died, we were on a little bit of an incline and on an overpass. And so we get me, who's 8 or 9 years old, driving the car, my brother and Dad pushing it, because it is a manual transmission. We get it to the top of the hill, and Dad opens the door and kind of tells me watch out, but steer it a little bit from the side. And so I'm kind of sitting in the middle between the driver's seat and passenger seat, and they get it going down the hill, pop the clutch. Luckily, like I said, I think there was enough battery to get the gas up to the carburetor. Now luckily it starts, but my mom had all the money, so the three of us, we make it to a gas station with about like $5. We put enough gas we thought we could get home in it, and got a pop and a candy bar. That was our dinner. My sister and mom, they went to Burger King, had Whoppers. So that is the story of picking this car up originally. So we're ready to pull this out. And there's the radiator out. You can see it has an overflow bottle. We know this doesn't work. This has been replaced several times. The voltage regulator. We do need to pull the alternator.
Several times down to St. George, he was driving that orange and white truck that Jack had.
We gotta pull the alternator, this fan. I want to get all that out of the way so it's easier to pull it. Said we're gonna rewire it, so we'll probably just cut the wires.
Who's selling it? I guess the last one other than his mother. Mother's still alive. She don't look like her. Well, why don't tell him, you know, if it's go to traffic, come get a hold of it. I'd be happy to talk to him and work with him, so. You know, I understand the situation, so, if you find out something, let me know. Well, it shouldn't really matter, they didn't have to have somebody sign off on it. And I'm still representative of Mr. Brothers Catholic, even though, our license is expired and stuff like that, we're still, so.
You'd kind of be glad you don't have smell-o-vision because the gas in this is pretty bad. I cut the line the other day. It still stinks.
Maybe it's you.
Nope, it's the gas.
Yeah. Yeah, if we go in against, if we go in they put it in against us, I'll be happy to talk with them, and we can work something out or whatever, so. Okay, well, like I say, we're out there filming, we haven't been filming anything about right now, pulling the radiator and the fan blades and all that off. Under the brush, the road.
It's a good idea to do these ones while you still have that belt attached. Otherwise, you kind of have to hold it, and even if you just break them free first before you do it, that's even better.
All righty, sounds good. Take care.
Okay, where are we at? Hold that fan.
We're gonna set all these parts.
I don't know. We'll figure that out right now. They can just go on the ground.
In a safe place where you won't
We'll put them in a
lose
safe place. That way we'll know we're right where they're at. It's worked out well on the Oldsmobile. Well, I'll set it right here.
Want to take the fuel pump off?
Yep. So we'll bag and tag all this later, but that's why I'm leaving this bracket on the alternator, then we'll know where it goes. Put that bolt back in there. So what'll be going back on this is we put one on another Mustang we built. It worked really well. It's a GM one wire alternator. And the wiring harness we use, probably American Auto wire again. They require it, but it works so much better. It's got an internal regulator versus that. He's replaced that 7 or 8 times, that external regulator. So the new wiring, new alternator should work a whole lot better. There's no reason to use the same size bolt on all 3 of these, so we gotta have 3 different sizes. Thing I do want to do, so we're just going to cut those. Do want to keep the starter solenoid. We'll probably replace it with a new one. If I actually can find a way to get a starter with a solenoid on it, I'll actually probably go that route, but if not, we'll have this one, or we'll get a new one. Is one nice thing about GM is they made it a whole lot easier on the wiring. Typically have your main wire to the starter and one other wire, and wire from your alternator down to your same main wire, and there you go. But you can see that has probably 10 wires in it. Okay, so This we will move. It's a ground strap. You really do need one. They're actually have a really good purpose. But why you would put it on the front of the engine, I have no clue. They should go in the back. Again, we're just cutting these, getting them out of the way. So the only other things we're going to really have to do is we'll end up, this will come out when we undo the starter. We'll probably wait and do that. We'll wait and pull the carburetor and distributor till we're ready to pull it. We'll have to pull these brackets out. And I want to pull this battery out. The more room I have, the better, and that way we can leave the hood on. We're going to be going to paint shortly with the Oldsmobile. It's just about there. In fact, that's going to be this weekend. So we still have a lot of dust from the sanding, just finishing that. So we don't want to get this out and have it full of, sanding. So we want to be able to leave the hood, close the hood down, and keep it that way. But we'll go ahead and move our tools. We can put our hood down, and then we'll go ahead and hop underneath. We did already pull the drive line. Well, we need to pull the starter, transmission. So let me go ahead and go up with the car. So we are leaving it. Down on our safeties. We are leaving it a little bit low because we're going to manually lift the transmission out. We will be going with our sketchy board again. Okay, so we need to pull these two bolts out, or nuts off. Then we can pull these ones. That'll drop our transmission cross member out. We got the transmission resting on this jack. Then we can undo our bolts here and pull the transmission out. This one should be pretty light. I'm going to grab some busts and go with it. I wasn't gonna remove this, but it'll be a little easier, not have to fight it. Okay, now the fun part.
Is the transmission all unbolted?
Yep. We'll bore out all of it.
You need to hold the back of the motor.
Nope. Or maybe, yeah, put this up there and back of the motor. After in both ends, we got the transmission. Put it up here. Okay. You ready? Yep. Set it right now. Got it. That's no Tremec 5-speed. I can handle that myself. So, yeah, let's get the starter out of here. Okay, so that gets our starter out. We're gonna leave our clutch and stuff hooked up for now, because it goes to the motor mount bolt, and we're not ready to do that. But we have two options on our transmission, or on our engine. It is either after 66 289 or it's a 302. The only way we're going to be able to tell that now is to get it out and look at the engine number. So that's the main purpose of it, pulling the engine, is so we can find out what we got so we can order the parts to build it. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.